Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Today I'm going to be talking about the soy debate. Now I'm going to end up going in a different direction than I originally intended when I first decided to do this video, because some questions were coming up about soy, because I talk about, avoiding soy. I really think people should avoid soy and all that. And somebody asked me about fermented soy, and I've heard about the benefits of fermented soy, and if you're going to eat soy, eat fermented, and blah, blah, blah. And I've been of the belief for some time that you should avoid soy pretty much in general, just altogether, fermented or not. Even though we do still use Bragg's liquid aminos, it's something that we use in such small quantities, I just haven't concerned myself with it. And because I also will sometimes switch it up and use the coconut aminos, and this is the brand I recommend, by the way. I recommend both of these. And coconut aminos are really good, but they have a much sweeter flavor. In some things they're better, and in some things the liquid aminos are better. It just kind of depends on what flavor you're looking for. So I recommend trying them both out. Now, anyway, let me get on to the topic of this debate, because as I started researching it further again, after several years, I started coming across some more information that has had me sort of change my mind a bit. Not entirely, but to a degree, and I'll explain why. And I'm going to talk about several different points and why there is so much confusion in this soy debate. So the first thing I want to talk about is that back years ago, soy was promoted highly, and it's suspect to me that who was promoting it, and thus the increase of soy in people's diet, I mean, it went up exponentially. I think it was like 300% in the 90s, that, because that was when soy was just really getting the big push. And I, for one, was one of them that started getting more into soy, and we started drinking more soy milk, and didn't notice at the time any ill effects from the soy. In fact, thought it was actually helping us out. But I have some more opinions on soy milk and why I think it should be avoided. But I'll get to that in a minute. Now, typically when something, any kind of food product or anything for that matter, gets highly promoted as being healthy, such as a long time ago it was margarine and Crisco, as being healthier for you than butter and lard. Well, there was reasons behind that. And some of that, like, and one of my subscribers brought up, and this is true, like for the margarine, it was a replacement for butter because of things being rationed out in World War II. But the push was trying to convince people that it was better for you than butter when it wasn't. Same thing happened with Crisco. And these are a couple of fats that should definitely be avoided completely. So when soy started getting pushed, you have to kind of look at, well, who's pushing it? Who's pushing people to convince people it's the healthier option of everything, all the way around? And, it is kind of showing when you look into the research that it did have something to do with corporations that had money to make off of it. However, when you go back farther into history and you look at our Asian countries, we all know that Asians typically eat soy. It's part of their diet. Now, rumor has it on one hand that, well, they didn't really eat it that much, or they only ate it in its fermented form, which is very likely. Yet other people will tell you that Asians do eat a lot of soy. So, which is true? I mean, I've never been to any Asian countries personally myself, so I can't tell you that. I can only go by what I've seen in the standard American diet. And one of the things I've seen is a high increase of soy due to the push. But when you look at studies done on the ill effects of soy, those go clear back to 1939. And probably even further back than that, I'm not sure, but I know the earliest one I came across was 1939. But then here's the issue you have here. So why are we hearing two different things on all these different things? Well, when I got looking deeper, one of the places, I'm going to link to this in the description box, by the way, and that is the Harvard study on soy. Harvard, believe it or not, is one of those places when it comes to actual studies, I'm going to trust more than most places. Normally I would have thought no, but I've seen them come out with some pretty good stuff that I would say was right on. And their study was on soy, I would say, is very thorough. And so there's a lot of different things you have to take into consideration when it comes to soy and whether or not it's good for you. That's what it really boils down to. Is it good for you? And that is your genetics. What kind of health problems are you dealing with now? Are you having thyroid issues? Are you having gut problems? These are all things to take into considerations. Genetics plays a big part in it, believe it or not. And also you have to realize that a lot of the studies that are done on soy and, proving their benefits or their ill effects are done on animals. Well, animals will process soy differently than humans, and then humans amongst themselves can process it differently than each other. And so there's just way too many factors to figure in, and I think that's why one of the big reasons why there's so much misunderstandings. And I'm going to tell you right here and now, I absolutely do not feel like I fully understand everything. I do have some opinions that have been forming since I've been looking into this more, but and I'll talk about that. But really, I don't think there's any one person that can come in here and say that, soy is all bad for you or soy is all good for you. Honestly believe that they have all the facts, because I know I don't. Because this is such an in-depth topic that it would take me a very long time to research it, and I just don't have that kind of time. I have too many other things going on, and people are still asking me to put out a book and get into my spinning, and I don't even have time for those things yet. So I did want to at least touch on this and open up this subject for discussion, and a kind discussion down below. Now I do want to continue on touching on some key points that just from what I've been looking into, and keep in mind these are going to be mostly based on my opinions from what I've seen and what I've read and what I've seen in our own lives. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about soy milk. Now, when I was doing the vegan thing, and we were doing and we were both consuming soy milk, that organic, non-GMO soy milk, I decided, hey, I had also bought a big bag of non-GMO soybeans. At the time, I didn't even know anything about GMOs, but they were non-GMO. I'm like, okay, whatever that means, but supposedly that's good. And I decided I was going to start making my own soy milk to save some money. Well, I tell you what, that was some pretty nasty stuff. And it didn't take me long to form the opinion that if soy milk actually tastes good, then it's probably not good for you. That's going to tell you that it's highly processed and has a whole bunch of additives of sweeteners and all kinds of things to make it actually taste good. Because true soy milk, in my personal opinion, it tastes terrible. It's not something I would want to use in replace of dairy in most things, especially for putting on something like cereal. It's gross. So not like your nut milks and stuff. Nut milks are tasty of all kinds. And again, I have lots of videos on how to make your own nut milks, and you can check those out. I'll go ahead and link to my pecan cashew nut milk video right up here so you can check that out. But I also have one on coconut milk, hemp seed milk, almond milk, and so on. So I recommend those if you're vegan or you're just needing to go dairy free because you have to stay away from the caseins. That's just one thing you can look at. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is estrogen. So we hear a lot about soy being an estrogen mimicker, and this is true. It is very, very true. And for some people, it may be necessary for them to be especially if they're younger women and they have a low estrogen count, it may be necessary for them and be able to have children to consume a certain amount of healthy, non-GMO, properly prepared soy to help make them more fertile. On the other hand, too much soy, too much estrogen can make you infertile. So if you're already got a lot of estrogen and you're producing a lot, adding more to it is never a good idea. So let's get on to the subject of menopause. Okay, well, that means a woman who's in menopause should be eating more soy because, they say soy helps reduce hot flashes and all the other symptoms of menopause. Well, this is true, but here's my personal thoughts. Again, this is my opinion. I believe that we're overexposed to estrogen in general. Estrogen's in our food, estrogen mimickers through various things, not just soy products, but, BPA, and also that in a woman's lifespan, she's only supposed to produce estrogen for a certain amount of time, from the time she's in her early to mid-teens until she's in her 50s-ish, okay? This is a rough figure for every woman, it's different. And I believe there's a reason why we're supposed to stop doing that. And I don't think we should be replacing not having estrogen with an estrogen mimicker, whether it be through a natural-based product or a synthetic product. We shouldn't be doing that. Again, my personal opinion. I think if we are wanting to relieve the hot flashes, find other ways to get more magnesium and calcium into your diet. These are the two big things that will really help relieve hot flashes. Like I've talked about in my eggshells. This is why I consume eggshells. However, hot flashes aren't bad either because they may be uncomfortable, but when you're sweating like that, your body is releasing toxins. So I don't think we should be trying to stop them altogether, ladies. I know they're uncomfortable, but sometimes I'll just let them go because it's like I'm flushing out the toxins, and that's a good thing. So again, at least for us Americans, I believe that we are just way overexposed to estrogen. Oh yes, and let's not forget the hormones in the products that we buy in meats and stuff. If you're not getting wild caught meat and like deer and elk, and you're buying the stuff at the store that's not been grass fed and organically raised, and it's been injected with hormones and all kinds of stuff, then you're being exposed that way too. So that's another reason I think that I still believe soy should be avoided for most people. Now, if you're eating a really healthy diet all the way around and you're eating soy in its good whole form that's at least been fermented, then I think it's possible it could be quite good for you and you will have no ill effects. Not too long ago, I was saying everybody should be avoiding soy, but now, again, my opinion has changed a little bit on that. It's just, again, you have to do your own research on each one of these things, and you have to decide for you and your family, and it's going to be based on your health needs. So moving on from there, again, I did mention genetics. Genetics plays a big part on it, which could be why Asian people can eat more soy and not have any ill effects with it. But they also tend to eat healthier in general than Americans. So keep that in mind. When they started looking at health issue that some Asians were having, whether it be testicular cancer, breast cancer, or whatever it was, these could not really be linked to them eating soy products because these things weren't things that fell into place until after they started adapting to the Americanized diet. So that to me says a lot. Now, some other factors to think of. If you have hypothyroidism, you have low producing thyroid, then I believe you should, just like I said in a previous video, you should be avoiding soy in general. I think you should be avoiding it. However, the main reason you should be avoiding it is the goitrogens. Same reason you should be avoiding raw broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. But if they're properly prepared, you're going to lower the amount of goitrogens or remove them entirely, and then it should not be an issue. Now, when it comes to our food supply, soy products, soy is in just about everything you buy when it comes to processed foods. Soy is in almost everything, and it's always going to be, when you have it in that, almost always it's going to be genetically modified, and that's really key. That you stay away from genetically modified soy. I'm going to stand strong on that one still. And unfortunately here in the United States, almost all of the soy products are genetically modified. It's very difficult to find any that is non-GMO. There is some, just like the Bragg's liquid aminos, at least they still claim to be non-GMO, and we can just have to hope and assume and trust that that is true. Needless to say, I'm still going to limit my soy consumption to just this. And that's it. I'm still going to avoid soy for several different reasons, even in its fermented form. Getting back to the fermented form, I know I'm kind of jumping from topic to topic because I want to make sure I cover each one of these. If you're going to consume soy, fermented, having it in its fermented form is the best way. So there's different ways like miso and tempeh, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think I've ever actually heard anyone pronounce that, but I think it's pronounced tempeh, which is a type of like tofu that's actually been fermented. And those are going to be the healthier ones for you. Now, another thing we need to talk about is lectins. Soybeans, just like many legumes, are high in lectins. So if you have gut problems, celiac disease and various different things, the lectins in the soy are going to cause more gut problems. But again, let's come back to, well, if we eat beans and grains, and these can have lectins in them, well, we still eat them. What do we do different? We soak them and we sprout them and we do all this stuff to make them more gut friendly. So this can also be done with soy. Same thing with the phytic acids. Phytic acids in the soy and other legumes will prevent the minerals, the really necessary minerals we need in our diet, from being absorbed. But again, if properly prepared, a good non-GMO, all natural soy product, properly prepared, shouldn't be a problem. Again, this is just based on some of the stuff I've been learning. Now, I'm going to say it again. I still do not personally recommend soy products, at least not for us. It's something we're still going to avoid, other than the liquid aminos, with certain dishes and stuff that I make. Now let me go back a little bit on the history. Then we had this major push against soy. And some people out there actually believe that that was started by the USDA, where for me, it seems to me that anything that it's actually been the government that's been pushing soy, which then makes me more suspicious of why are they pushing soy on us so much. Usually when the government is pushing a product on us, it's usually in tandem with corporations that are pushing a product, and there's a lot of money changing hands, and everybody has something to make from it, and Big Pharma typically has something to make from it. So I still find a lot of this very suspect. However, I think sometimes when we're looking into stuff, we see, something I believed was healthy is actually bad for me. And so then we just want to avoid it entirely and get rid of it. Again, I want to come back to the fact that it's going to be all up to you and your family and your health needs. We all are dealing with different health issues these days because of the different toxins that we're exposed to that we didn't used to be exposed to, because of the way our food has been handled and changed and genetically modified. And that's another thing. This is why people have problems with gluten when it didn't used to be an issue. I believe it is a real issue. Some people are saying, the gluten thing, that's just, that's not real. No, I believe it absolutely is real. I just can't believe that people are going to start claiming they're having gluten issues, and then they start taking out the gluten and they start seeing change in their health. Are you going to tell me these people are lying when these are real people? I know these people. No, it is a real problem, but why? Why is it happening? It's happening because of all the stuff that we're being exposed to, and because of the changes to our wheat, and the hybridization, the over-hybridization, and the genetically modified foods, and all the different things. And for each person, again, this is going to be different. Different things are causing all of us to have some sort of gut problems, making it so that we're not properly digesting our food, not getting all the nutrients we need, especially the minerals. And and thus making things like soy something that I think we should still be thinking of avoiding in general. I'm not going to promote soy. I'm not going to do it. However, I'm also not going to continue to give it a bad name all the way around. I think you have to do your own research and find what you think is best for you, because maybe for some people, soy is their only option because they can't have dairy and they can't have nuts because they're allergic to both or whatever it is. Because I saw that in a comment thread that somebody was worried about that because, well, you know, we can't have dairy and we can't have nuts, and soy has been the only thing that we could do. There is a lot of cause for concern in various different areas, and not one person, not me, not anyone else can tell you. I can give you my opinions, I can share with you what I think, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily right for you when it comes to diets. And you know, for me, I tried going vegan for a while simply because I wanted to see what it did for me. And initially I felt great, but after a while I realized, nope, it wasn't for me. Health-wise, I did better having some animal products in my diet. I always have. And I do have other things that I do that are going to be different from other people, and it won't work for everyone. And one of those things is intermittent fasting always seems to work best for me. And anyway, I'll talk about that in another video down the road. Whether the topic is about a specific diet, whether it's about eating soy, whether it's about eating gluten, whether it's about eating bananas even, because that came up in a recent video, you got to really do your research. If eating a banana really makes you feel good, then eat a banana. If eating soy really makes you feel good, especially in the long run, I've seen some people say they've been eating soy products for 30 years and they feel great. And then maybe they're eating the right kind. Then maybe that's what you should be doing. It's not for me to tell you that. It's not for anyone to tell you that. But you should still try to learn all your facts about everything. So when somebody brought up the thing about bananas, I've always known bananas were higher in sugar than other fruits because I looked into it a while back when I was really trying to avoid getting so many carbs, mostly for not carbs, but of calories. I was doing a lot of calorie counting, and I found that bananas were higher in calories than certain other fruits because of their higher sugar content. However, in my research, what I found more recently is that apples and mangoes are typically higher in sugar than bananas. Coming back to the soy again, is remember, a lot of the soy that's in products that you buy is highly processed, and it is not healthy at all. So you have to find that balance when it comes to whatever it is, whether it be a specific food group, whether it be a specific diet. I can't say it enough. Doing your own research is so important. It can get rather mind-numbing, just like with the soy. You can find websites where people talk about all the ills of soy. And then you can find another one that talks about all the benefits of soy. And somewhere in the middle, you're going to find some, and this is why I like the Harvard study, is I think it was pretty realistic, where it gave just an overall cover both sides of the spectrum and showing why there's a debate. And these are the things you need to look at. If you just read opinions by people or listen to opinions by people, even me or anyone else, then you're only getting opinions, you're not getting actual facts. Or you might be getting facts that are based on how those things work for that person. So maybe someone is consuming soy and it's really, really good for them, and they just go on it, or they're vegans and that diet is perfect for them and they're doing really good. But you can go over here and find another person who's been a vegan for a couple of years or 20 years, and their teeth are falling out, they have gut problems, even though they ate as healthy as, they were eating healthy, eating natural, they weren't eating the processed garbage, the garden burgers and stuff that you can buy at the store. They were doing it right. They were still having a lot of health problems, and I've seen both sides. So that to me tells me that each diet that you see out there is not for everyone. And check your own health. I mean, you listen to what your body has to say. If your body's saying, no, this isn't for me, then you need to listen to that. Bananas, again, I want to say this again. I'm not big on just peeling and eating banana. I never have been. I like bananas in stuff. I like bananas with stuff, but just to eat a plain banana, never have I really liked that. But once in a great while, I crave it. And when I do, I eat it if it's there, because that tells me, I believe that when I'm craving something like that, especially something that I don't typically like, that means my body is needing the nutrients that is in that, because your body knows. Again, listen to your body. So that goes with any of this stuff. So anyway, I want to close this out with, when it comes specifically to soy, what have been your experiences? I don't want just opinions based on what you read somebody else or listened to somebody else say. What I want is your real life experiences. Has soy helped you in your diet? Has soy hurt you in your diet? What about your loved ones? Do they eat soy? And if they do, has it helped them? Has it hurt them? Share your real life experiences, because I think this is where we're going to start seeing more truth come out. Because if you can see a good mix of people say, hey, I've been eating soy for 50 years and I have none of the health problems that people claim. I don't have any cancer and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, you see people say, I ate soy for a year. I started having gut problems. I started having this. I started having that. Then it will also break down what kind of soy products have you been eating? Have they been fermented? Have they been non-fermented? Is it tofu? What is it? Is it edamame, I think is pronounced? I've eaten those too, and I really liked them in the past. Really liked them. Share with us this. I think this is really important for us to get through this debate, and then to figure out and to decide where we want to go with that, as people in general. For me, for now at least, I'm still going to stick with just avoiding it in general, because, well, I'm a menopausal woman. I'm trying to do what I can to keep my thyroid healthy, and I want to make sure I'm taking good care of my gut health. But, anyway, I still eat beans and grains, but I soak them first. So, okay, well, I hope this helped, and that maybe this can really spur some really good discussion amongst us. So thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.